Nevada, USA. In 1911, in Nevada's Lake Lahontan region, 3 hominid skeletons were found in Lovelock Cave. The hominid remains had red hair and were 10 feet in height. This find correlated with the local lore of the Paiute people, who spoke about the Siteka, giant red-haired people who had arrived from overseas on boats of reeds in the deep past. The Paiute story stretches back thousands of years. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistador Pedro Ciez de Leon noted the Peruvian mythology concerning red-haired giants. He noted in his journal the indigenous story of their arrival. They came in rafts of reeds in the manner of large boats. Some were so tall that a man of ordinary height would reach to their knees. In Peru, they were called the Paracausa, strong people from the ocean. In Mexico, their hybrid descendants were called the Toltecatl, the city builders. In Georgia, USA, the Paracausa were known as the Paracusate. In 1939, archaeologist Robert Warchop discovered an ancient settlement in the Allatoona Mountains of Georgia. The remains he found were of human-like beings, but with a far larger cranium than that of a Homo sapiens. In 1947, an archaeologist for the Smithsonian excavated the entire settlement, unearthing more than 1,000 skeletons, all exhibiting anomalously large craniums. According to the Hebrew tradition, there were giants in the lands of various kinds: the Gathites, the Rephaites, the Nephilim, the Anakim. Now, the Anakim were the descendants of the giant king Anak. Anak has a counterpart in Islam, the female Anak. Her son is Uj. Now, in the Hebrew tradition, Uj is Og. And the Bible notes that Og was so large that his bed was 13 feet long by 6 feet wide. In Greek mythology, we find the giant king Anax. So we have Anak, Anak, and Anax. And Anax was the progenitor of the Anactorians, a race of giants reputedly 15 feet tall. He wasn't the only giant in Greek mythology. I remember traveling in Greece and going to Knossos and being told about the Minoan culture that had produced these anomalously advanced buildings, seemingly from out of nowhere, full of technology. And when I asked the guide the explanation for their advancement, he said, well, the Minoans, their progenitor was a hybrid being, part human, part something else. And that was Minos, a giant. And so we have these repetitions from culture to culture, and some of the details repeat as well. 6 fingers, 6 toes, red hair, double rows of teeth. What is the reason for those correlations? It seems to me that the similarity of the names, Anak, Anak, Anax, Anakim, Anunnaki, Paracausa, Paracusate, suggests to me the possibility of real cultural memory, of real encounters with hominid neighbors who were gigantic. There's no controversy in saying Gigantopithecus used to live alongside other forms of hominid. The question is there any possibility that some of these other forms of hominid have survived to the present?